Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Josh. Welcome back once again to Game 3 of the Grand Finals of the Alpha Navigators Cup Season 0. We're back on Broken Crown. In the top right, in the red trunks representing the human vanguard is Mixu. And in the bottom left, in the blue trunks as the infernal host is TheoRy. The scores now are 1-1, Mixu with a brilliant game last time around to even the games back up again. And let's see if he chooses to go with the same approaches in game 1 or something more akin to game 2. And this time around we only see, there's the second worker on the imps now. The dog comes out slightly quicker than last time we were on this map. Manages to catch the imps before there are 2 here, now there are 3 on Ethereum. But again, it's going to be a little back and forth between the dogs and the imps, but I don't expect an imp to fall in this scenario. He is sticking around for a long time, but there are healing flowers on this map that the dog can take a little bite out of to heal back up to full health. This time around we see the barracks being built and not sold straight away, so it looks like our vanguard player wants to use this. We'll see what comes out of it shortly. But we also see some bobs working the Furium. It is a Lancer, so potentially we'll see a biokinetics lab soon with this Furium use to get those early Lancer upgrades. Meanwhile, our infernal player is out on the map, it's eating up these resource camps. The dog is close by and well aware of what's going on, so we'll see if there's this early pressure coming out from our vanguard player is enough to dissuade the infernal player. There's a second dog coming out, so it does look like it's going to be an early pressure build. I think Mixu managed to get that last hit. He is surrounded now by the fiends, and that's a terrible, terrible loss for him. Fantastic control out of the infernal player. Losing the early Lancer puts him into great jeopardy right now. The fiends chasing down these dogs. It is the same build as in the first game, only this time there was a Lancer coming out on the map to put some early pressure on, but it looks like we're going to go back into hedgehogs again. Early expansion from infernal player, yet to see our expansion from the vanguard player. But with the Bob overcharge and the power building, and here we go now. Not going to use that Bob overcharge. Or are we? There we go. Bit of a delay on that one there. He is going to use 5 bobs, which is a little more than usual, to get this expansion up nice and fast. Meanwhile, Infernal player of that early victory, complete control of the map. Farming away, eating some tasty creep camps, without a care in the world. This hedgehog is in a good position to hopefully pick off a gaunt for the vanguard's sake. He might get it. There we go. That's a nice little pick off. But will he lose any units in return? Second hedgehog out now. Is he going to get surrounded? These fiends are mightily fast. But no. The expansion is up now for the vanguard player. There's a fiend in the main base scouting everything that's going on. Seeing if he can take a bob for its money as well. But no. All good from the vanguard front. It's hard not to say that we're advantage infernal right now. With the amount that they managed to get done on the map. The size of their army. Vanguard hasn't got much to show for it. And they need to find a way to get back into this game. We aren't seeing tier 2 yet from... Oh, as I say that, he is upgrading to tier 2 now as we speak. But we're not going to see a crazy fast Doombringer akin to another player like Parting, for example, who gets a Doombringer out before the 4-minute mark. It's a slightly different style coming out of TheoRy this game. He's content right now just to eat up all the creep camps on the map, gain map control, and eke out a slight advantage that way. And there's nothing necessarily wrong with that. I do expect to see a Doombringer coming out from him soon, though, to try and get some economical damage. A little bit of threatening from these hedgehogs to destroy that tower on the high ground, but this amount of fiends is coming down fast. trying to usher them away. They can't really stop this without heavy casualties. And here comes the main horde of the army of the Infernals, trying to trap them in this tight angle. With this fiend posturing, we might actually see this army getting encircled and trapped with very little chance to get home, but they managed to find a nice little gap in the defenses to sneak through. One scout does go down from the infest damage. We do see more hedgehog production. A barracks up again is very similar build to the first game, and these hedgehogs will clean these fiends up nicely. Meanwhile, the third base is coming out from our infernal player. No sign. Here's the Doombringer, and it looks like it's going to be a gaunt drop, which is not too surprising. Trees getting cleared by these bobs, trying to set up a third base, but that's going to be dissuaded by this Doombringer. The timing is very nicely planned out to put pressure on to stop this second expansion coming out. The hedgehogs are in position to dissuade the Doombringer there. That's a nice little setup. The hedgehogs, of course, can transform into an anti-air mode where they stand in place but are very strong against air units. And the second expansion is going to come out of not much fuss from our vanguard player. Very nice little use of the hedgehogs there. Nice positioning and splitting them off. And this Doombringer has done very little apart from delay an expansion for a few seconds. It's a good position to be in. These hedgehogs are getting a lot more done this time around. We still haven't seen any economic damage from the vanguard player, which is a little worrying, as infernal is now going up to 4 bases. But they haven't suffered any damage of their own just yet. So better than game 1, but infernal I still put as slightly ahead. We'll have to see what the tech switch is for infernal. We do see them building their tech buildings now, and some more production buildings to benefit from the increased economy. A Weaver comes out, which will be very nice to deal with any heavier units that come out from Vanguard. He's scouting out the 4th base now. He might get a cancel on one of these buildings. The Infernal army is very slow in comparison to the hedgehogs, so we might see a force cancel on this base. The army turns up now in the nick of time. There's no cancel coming out. He feels confident that he can defend this, but this is only gaunts who are extremely fragile, and the hedgehogs do a fantastic job of cleaning up that gaunt force. This is great use of mobility from the hedgehogs with very little counter punch coming out. Unfortunately, he doesn't quite manage to take down the base, which would have been a massive win, but that resetting of the gaunt forces from Infernal is just as good, I'd say, if not slightly worse, but a nice return on investment with these hedgehogs. When we were last on Broken Crown, we saw Mixu mix in Vulcans into his build, which is potentially why we see the Weavers coming out from TheoRy, anticipating that. I'm not sure if that is the approach that he's going to go around this time. These bobs need to be put back to work. There's the biokinetics lab, which is up now to start to get some upgrades for the Lancers and the Exos. I was about to say the Doombringer is back on the map looking for damage. The Gaunt Drop is here with some Flame on Imps that devastate the Furium line, and that's exactly the kind of damage you're looking for. Meanwhile, there's a second punch here with the main force of the Infernals trying to stop this expansion. You see how fast the Bob Overcharge builds buildings. It looks like it was still going to go up despite all this damage going out on it, but he realizes he has to stop. A Flame on Imp gets a good connection there with the Hedgehogs. The Weavers in the front line, those tanky boys, taking all that damage and dishing out lots of damage in return. This is what we see Mixu building, an Atlas, a artillery unit that can set up and deal heavy damage to ground forces in an AoE. Gets a little stuck there, but it looks like he's in full retreat. The Infernal forces heading up the ramp, the Doombringing here to provide Shroud, to give these units white health, which gives them a second layer of skin, as it were. the Gaunts run up with Reaper's Rush to try and start snowballing off these bobs, get some more fiends built into the army. This is a very defensive position here. The beachhead is set up from the infernals. Units stream across the map. More expansions are built on the other side of the map, as the infernals is using this as an opportunity to not necessarily kill the vanguard player, though he is in a very strong position, but to get himself further ahead. This base is certainly going to fall, and vanguard is stuck on 2 bases, trapped into their own natural, and that's going to be GG from our vanguard player, who never seemed to, despite having map control, never seemed to fully capitalize on it. There was a little moment down here where they put a lot of pressure on the 4th base and just didn't manage to destroy it, which might have been a turning point. That defense from infernals just enough to give them the advantage to build this army and push forward. Unfortunately for vanguard player, he now goes behind 2-1 to TheoRy. That was me. This was the 3rd game of the grand finals. Please, if you like what you saw, you like my style, give me a like and subscribe. I'm going to be casting the rest of the games in this series. I'm having a lot of fun, and I hope you're having a lot of fun too. Until next time, have a lovely day, and I'll see you later.